Hey there, everybody. Today is Friday, May 23rd. Let's get into these stats. Conejo Valley, SIMI Valley, and Moorpark. And coming soon, we have 10 new listings, 64, price change 88, back on market 18, active under contract 41, pending 34, closed 55. The real number is 37. Expired 3, canceled 6, hold 10, and withdrawn 9. Coming soon. All right, so there's 10 properties that are going to be coming to the market. They're not yet viewable in person, but you can look at them online. The new listings number, the two numbers that we really like to compare the most are the new listings, which is at 64. These are the properties that have just hit the market in the last 7 days. This is Conejo, Simi, and Moorpark versus the active under contract number. The active under contract number, these are the sellers that have just accepted an offer from a buyer within the last 7 days. Okay, these buyers are right now in their investigation period. They have not removed any of their contingencies. And the reason we like to compare these two numbers is because the new listings, these are what's just coming on, and the active under contract, these are the ones that have just accepted an offer and gone into escrow. They are allowed to accept backup offers at this point, but not very many buyers are going to preview these homes in person, and not very many sellers are going to want to go through the hassle of getting the house ready for showing again. The pending number at 34, this is somewhat strong compared to the active under contract number at 41. Pendings, these are the sellers that have a buyer that has removed all of their contingencies. All contingencies gone. That buyer is now locked in on buying that house, and if they don't, they risk losing some or all of their deposit. All right, so let's take a look, as we like to, at new listings and see where this inventory is coming from or coming to. Let me organize the page for everybody. All right, here we go. Agora Hills is on the board with 4. Moorpark with a bunch. That's 3, 6, 7 or 8 in Moorpark. Newberry Park with a handful. 3, 6, 9, 10, 11. Oak Park with 1. Simi Valley again with a bunch of inventory. Simi is at 15. There's a ton of inventory in Simi Valley, folks. It's a great town, affordable place to live. All kinds of options for you over there. Thousand Oaks. This is my town, Thousand Oaks and Westlake Village. Let's see, 40, that's 16 in Thousand Oaks. And then Westlake Village on the board with 6 more. All right, so that is the new listings. There was another number that I would like to share with you guys, and these are the price changes. All right, let me organize this one for you guys. Price changes. Now, green arrow means the home either sold or they raised their price in the middle of escrow. Most likely it's sold over asking price. The red arrow means these are homes that reduced their price or are currently still on the market and have reduced their price. Now you see over here, all the closed over here, there's a mix, mostly red, mostly red. Most sellers are having to reduce their property price right now to get sold. But then as you go to price changes down here, these are the sellers that are still on the market. And you see in this bracket right here, it's all red. Then you have a few more closed sales right here, homes that sold above asking. There's a few, but then again, the vast majority have had to reduce. Okay, vast majority have had to reduce. All right, let's take a look at interest rates. Even though the stock market has been doing well, unfortunately, the Treasury yield has gone up, and thus interest rates for mortgages have increased. So the 30-year fix is now steadily above 7% at 7.07%. The 15-year fixed is at 6.37%. The 30-year jumbo is at 7.15%. The 7 and 6 SOFR ARM is at 6.42%. The 30-year FHA is at 6.53%. And the 30-year VA is at 6.54%. All right, folks, so there you have it. Last week we saw an enormous difference between the amount of new inventory coming onto the market and the properties that went active under contract. This week, that gap has definitely narrowed, but still, we are definitely in a buyer's market for most properties. There are still some properties at various price ranges that are commanding multiple offers, and going over asking. And guess what those properties have in common, folks? They all have been recently remodeled. Due to the prices, they're high. Interest rates, they're high. Buyers, a lot of buyers are very picky. They're spending a lot of money to get into these homes. Their mortgages are going to be a lot higher than they would have been 3, 4 years ago. So, guess what? They don't really want to do any work. So, if you've got a recently remodeled home, get in touch with me. I'll give you the game plan and the strategy to get multiple offers and get that house over asking price. If you have a house that needs work, there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of homes, most homes need TLC, but you have to be savvy and price smart and price aggressive. And what does that mean? That means you have to price it low. You are not going to command the same dollar that the recently remodeled has, just because your neighbor sold for X amount of dollars doesn't mean your house is worth just a little bit less because it's not remodeled. Cost of construction is high. All right, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. I would love to hear your questions, your plans for real estate in 2025. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Josh Brenner with Compass right here in Westlake Village, California. If you like information about real estate, please like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. And don't forget to get some exercise today, everybody. Yeah. Have a good day. Bye bye.